Welcome into our official day one. Welcome in, Girl Greatness. I am Lori Pelzer. I am the CEO of Girl Go Be Great Lifestyle Success Company. Okay. So I want to make sure that I am being heard. So let me talk with my team. Okay, great. So we had some background noise over here. I had to fix a few things. I want to welcome you in to day one. This is the official kickoff. We have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday together, and this is our midday session of the Dream into Action Summit 2024. We are getting ready to take you somewhere over the next several hours. Today we'll be here in a midday session till about 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. So the first thing I want you to do, if you're ready to go somewhere, I want you to say, I'm ready to go somewhere. Now, if you catch this on a replay, feel free to still talk with us because we want to hear you, right? This is not just about us, meaning myself and the women I've brought along with me to share the stories with you, to share their journeys, how they went from dreaming to doing. This is about you. And if I know anything about a woman, right, we all got this incredible amount of thoughts running through our brain every single day. I woke up this morning with thoughts. I woke up this morning with a few additional thoughts, right? We all have full lives. We all really are pretty much striving for the same thing, whether that is our radical self-care, which we're going to talk about how to really dream yourself into a self-care regimen, whether it's about your hair, your mane, or it's about your body. We'll be talking about that all through the next two days, well, the 3 days, because today is day one, really. We're going to talk about manifestation with me. So if you missed yesterday kickoff, I want you to go back and look at that replay, number 2, okay? Number 1, I want you to really say you're going somewhere. Welcome in. I see people joining. I see you, Girl Greatness, out there. Welcome in. We are going to talk about doing. So as we talk about the subject matters around dreaming, we're going to talk about doing because that's the guidepost. But in the midst of that, we're going to have concepts, all right? So for an example, yesterday's concept was, what does the dream cost? And what's the cost of being in action? So I want you to go look at that replay. You can find it right here on my YouTube channel, or you can find it on LinkedIn or Facebook, or if you're in the email community, you can click a link. We'll be sending those replays out at the end of the night of each day. Okay, so that won't come out to about 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if you're joining us from the UK right now, shout out to you, Girl Greatness, over there in the UK. I want you to tell us what part of the UK you hail from. If you're from the Canada, the GTA, I have to always remember to put the G, the T, and the A, the greater Toronto area. If you're from Halifax, where are you from? If you are joining us from Africa, the continent of Africa right now, I know that it's late your time. My team is in Africa. They're located in Nigeria and Kenya. My other team member, which is our operations manager, she's located here in Atlanta. She is actually my daughter. And we've had a lot of conversations this morning. Because the one thing about dreaming, you can decide if you want to dream something, right? You can have that moment. That's why you got to go look at the replay. I talked a lot about the dreaming aspect and what it takes to go into that dream and what that dream can cost you and what the cost of inaction is. You definitely want to get that foundation. We're going to be diving into several layers of concepts. And what I want you to really do is not just take notes. I want you to take note of. Number 3, I want you to take note of. Note of how is your body moving, like what's showing up in your body when you hear a certain concept. What's showing up for you in that moment where there's that powerful concept we're talking about and your body says, well, you don't quite understand that. What would be your next action? So if you don't understand something, what would be your next action? If it was me, my next action would be to reach out. Reach out to either my guest speaker that will be joining me for additional support. We talked about that yesterday in the kickoff, or reach out to Girl Go Be Great. And we're all here to support you. That's why we came together to do this. As you can see, we gifted you a free access ticket. We're spreading the love across social media platforms. And we do have some upgrades, though. If you get a VIP seat or you do a form, you're going to be invited to certain other sessions that we'll be having, mostly geared to Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are co-working sessions. So we're going to have one co-working session and one Ask Anything. Those are for those of you who've taken the additional steps. So if I was you, I would go back to the registration page, either upgrade and get my VIP pass for $37. If you want to do the actual work with me, we're going to just be in a co-working session. You'll get a separate link to join me so that we can do some work around what the dream is. And we talked a lot about that yesterday. The dream is not for sale, okay? The dream is not non-negotiable. The dream doesn't need approval. The dream doesn't need acceptance. So we're going to craft a stable and sustainable dream plan for, at best, your first quarter of 2025. For me, I was sharing this briefly, and you're going to hear more of my dreams as I move into 2025. I'll be 55 years old. I'll be married 30 years. I'm working through various challenges in my personal life as well as my business. So I've set some new goals. What is a dream? You'll also get that in the yesterday's session. But I'm going to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Repetition is key to understanding. A dream is a goal, a vision, an aspiration that you deeply hold. You hold this thing deep within you. It's not some arbitrary thing. So sometimes when we try to shift the goal or, shift the aspiration to fit a certain type of experience, like, okay, say you're dating someone and they don't particularly like your dream. You've shared it with them in detail and they basically give you all of this. Let me shift it. Let me help you. No, let me help you craft that better. Then what you're doing is you're compromising. So the first thing I want to do today is talk about compromising the dream. And then we're going to close out before our first speaker come on at 12:35 Eastern Standard Time. So I want you to share this with other friends. Just put it on your Facebook that you're hanging out over here at the Dream into Action Summit with Lori Pelzer. And it doesn't cost you anything to do that. We're also going to be talking about politics. Really, we're going to have a democracy conversation. For all of us who live in a democracy, we understand how fragile it is. I am a pro-politic girl. You don't know a lot of that about me. So we're going to talk about, over the years, my hope and goal was at some point to run for office, but not sure on that yet. Got some time. But one thing I know about dreams and goals, which is goals, aspirations, ideas, and visions, they also have time and season to them. So let's talk about compromise. How many of us really, if we do dive deep in our truths, no matter our age, because I know we got millennials, we got Gen Zs and Xs will be joining us. So shout out to you, Girl Greatness. And we have women like myself. We are headed to the other side of things. And our experiences create for us all different outcomes. If we tell the truth deep within us, we find that we've all compromised our dream. We've all found ourselves in a compromising position at some time or another. So we've either compromised or we found ourselves in a compromising position. Whichever way it goes, compromising is the enemy to dreams. Only if you decide deep within you that there is a compromise, a sacrifice that you must make based on how your body feels when you say a certain thing. We're going to talk about that a lot more when one of my other speaker guests come on this week. So your body tells you when you're in the wrong direction. Your body reveals to you when you're experiencing something that is absolutely amazing. It's not just a mind thing, it's a body thing. Spiritually, our bodies were built to indicate to us green light, red light. You know, when you're a kid and you're growing up, stranger danger. You ever heard that? I'm not sure if you've heard that across the globe, women who are in other parts of the country, but it's called stranger danger. And they always say kids are a good indicator of people and animals, especially dogs and cats, because of their intuitiveness. Okay, I'm going somewhere, so stay with me. So the body reveals these things to us. And if you're a woman, yes, you're a woman, right? We have something that's been given to us that is innately an incredible gift, unexplainable. That's why I know there's this big force I call God, not sure what you may call your higher power and source of life, the creation of this thing called a human. That tells me that there's so much about us we don't really understand. So back to the body and the body connection to dreams. So we have these moments where our body tells us, like children, says, stranger danger, I don't like that feeling, or that person, or animals. Or you're like, why do you always do that when that certain person comes by? Because their senses are really high. We as women, we have high senses as well. We have high senses as well. And those high senses reveal to us something, but we compromise them. What does that mean? We decide that there is, I'll come and check it out later, there is this moment where we can say, I'm not really sure. Then we start to think more than feel. Compromising taps into more of the thinking more than the feeling. The feeling actually comes first. You can feel whether this is something you want to do. You can feel whether this is something like a dream, like the dream, the goal, the aspiration that's assigned to your destiny. You can feel it, but the compromising happens when you second guess it also. When you start thinking and when you second guess it. Wouldn't it be more effective if you just felt your way through it? And you know why we struggle with feeling? Even though we was given this powerful, intuitive, innate thing that no one else was given but us. Intuition, we have a womb and it carries so much energy through it. It creates life. So you know it's the most powerful part of our body. It's not our vagina that's powerful, the most powerful. It's the womb for sure, right? So we often think, and I won't go too deep, but if you've ever been in a Lori Pelzer training, you will know that I go out the box. The most powerful part is our womb, where all life begins. And for some women who haven't been able to push out life out of their womb, they feel voids. That's how powerful it is. And so I want you to grab this next thing. There is no space for just thinking without feeling. And there's no space for feeling without thinking. But it's the thinking. So if the dream feels lofty, it feels high, it feels stretching, it feels like this big audacious thing, it feels out of the norm for you. You don't know how this downloaded into you. You don't know. You woke up from this lucid experience, as I talked about yesterday, and you feel it is palatable. You feel it. But you're choosing to go through this journey with it, with the questions, the what ifs, the what's, 1, 2, 3, 4. But what if it was built to not reveal that to you? What if it was not a 1, 2, 3, 4, but yet a whole experience of things that we're going to hopefully teach you, right? A few things like universal law. What if it was a universal law for you to just trust what you felt? What if it was a universal law for you to trust what you felt? And then, if that's the case, then compromising has its own very special place. It has to be done very delicately. Compromising, I would then say sacrificing for the dream, not compromising to pull from an abstract from the dream, but sacrificing and giving into the dream. As to the reason why most women have not fulfilled true dreams, the dreams that were given to you because of the way you felt your way through it. You seeked approval, most likely, if we be in our deep truth. You asked for permission. We were taught that. We were taught to get other people's opinion. And the more and more I do this work, after literally almost 28 years of working with women, I shared real estate yesterday and how I really got into learning more about women. And I recognize that women, with all our big, beautiful girl magic, within all our Black girl magic, because we serve 98% of our clients at Girl Go Be Great Lifestyle Success Co. is women of color and Black women. I know Black women because I'm one. So it's very easy for me to work with women in terms of knowing her. Now, we're not monolithic. That means we're not the same. And we don't operate in a silo. We don't do everything the same. But one thing for sure and two things for certain, we are the same. We come, even if we come from various different backgrounds in terms of culture, whether it's from Africa or we become from Africa to America and become African American, or we live in the UK and we're Black in London, or we're Black and live in London, or we're British, but we're still Black. We're still women of color. We're still African American. We still can come back and intersect those experiences with one another. And what am I saying here? I'm saying that we all struggle with courage to believe in our dreams because of messages passed down, because of messages pushed out to us, because of the surrounding of our cultural impediments. Now, what I do find is each one of us, when we come from a certain region in the world, because Girl Go Be Great Lifestyle Success Co. and Girl Go Be Great Tech, we're on a global mission. And we plan to fulfill that dream because it was a dream that I had to go and reach women across the world. Big dream. Like, where do you start with such a dream? So part of one of those co-worker sessions, we're going to dive in. How do you start? How do you craft your dream strategy, the right and the wrong one? But you got to have, like, how do you start with those big ones? All of them start with small steps. I'm going to give you that one. Okay. They all start with small steps. And those small steps may have a little bit more time to them than you really want them to be. Because I've been stepping now in this global mission now for over 1.5 years, and it's still not even seemingly at step one. So back to the idea of compromise, because we're going to talk on manifestation very quickly. This compromising that happens, remember, in here, you start to think, right? And you stop feeling. And what if the feeling was the idea? So I want to talk to you about how to negate all the compromising, not the sacrifice, not what you're willing to do. The compromise is what looks logical, usually what other people say you should do, and what looks like you should shift and twist and turn to get to the dream. That's what compromising really looks like. And it don't really settle well in your body. Even if there is this moment where you know you shouldn't do it, then trust your body, don't do it. See, you're not compromising, you're trusting your body. And your body has energy sensors, right? Throughout your body, your chakras. And they were built spiritually as well. There is so much research about chakras and where they are in your body, like the third eye, right? You see something very keen, it's very clear. No one else may see it, but you see it. Heart chakra. And remember, I talked about the womb, solar plexus. We have an idea of who we are, But do we really know who we are? We are powerful beyond measure. There's that poem, that Aquila and the Bee, if you ever seen that movie. And the poem is Returning Back to Love, really written by Marianne Williamson. And she said she didn't intend for that to be used in that way. But guess what, Marianne? You didn't have control over the idea of how powerful that poem was and how to depict women and what women dreams were. We're more powerful than we ever know. So your real job from this moment on, from like the Dream into Action Summit, it is to start reconnected to your powerful you. That's for me and that's for you. Yeah, we're going to talk about resistance. We're going to talk about what that looks like. That may look like letting go. That may look like, some boundaries. But what that doesn't look like is what we think when we think resistance. We need to say more yeses than nos. We were taught, remember those messages? We were taught to compromise, but we were never truly taught the power to manifest. We were never really taught the power to manifest. I'm going to be teaching more on manifestation tonight. I just want to drop one quick nugget. You want to be back tonight because I'm going to teach on manifesting, the magic of it when it comes to dreams. Yours truly need to practice more manifestation. Yours truly need to call things forth. The spiritual concept of having those things, though you may not see them, they're out in the universe. Y'all, they're out in the universe. They're waiting on us to put a name on it, to call it forth. And it doesn't look like getting approval or acceptance. That's low vibrational living. I want you to attune today, and I want you to make a commitment, because getting in action starts also with commitment. Conscientious decision, a conscientious decision that you'll stop today asking for approval or acceptance. If you get it wrong, but dang, you get it wrong. If you got to redo it, redo it. You got to recraft it for it to get stable and sustainable. Do that. That's what the co-worker session, we're going to kind of show you some right and wrong strategies. So roll over there to the page and get your co-working session. Get your $37 pass. It's going to be worth it. The magic of manifestation with your dreams. When I wrote this, I was very clear that it was not just coming from my lived experience, but from my expert experience. For those of you who don't really know me, you'll learn more over the next couple of days, but I've been in business since 1995. I went in the military at 18 years old. I was running for my life, but I didn't know I was running for my dreams. I always said I was running for my life. After 2 babies, after some horrific experiences, I had to run. I took care of my children legally before I left, my mother and my aunt. I trusted them to hold the space for my children, even though a space was not held for me. That was real risky. And I manifested a life that many didn't even believe I would or could. Now, they knew I had mouth. They used to say mouth almighty, but the mouth was my only weapon, my only idea, my only possibility to escape poverty and a low life, a propensity low life for the rest of my life. Because once you get in a cycle, that cycle can continue to move on and on and on and on. So this manifestation that I wrote, the power of manifestation with your dreams, I said this. What is manifestation anyway? So many of us don't know it. So many of us have never really been exposed to it. We think it's some kind of magic, black magic. But do y'all know that we as women, how we're made up, like how we set up, we are magic. We're magical. We are absolutely magical. If you're just sitting there, They called us witches at some point. But what all we were was healers, and all we are is healers. People have taken that power away. I see women all across the globe now reclaiming her healing power. Some practice it as a business, some practice it just in her own everyday life. I know yours truly need to do more healing practices. So manifestation is right up there with who we are. I define the process of manifestation of attracting experiences. Attracting experiences with conscious intention. Conscious, meaning I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. I define it as the process of attracting, bringing something to me, experiences with conscious intention. Manifestation is the power. It's where the power at. You can write your own story when you manifest, because it's your power. You get to make it how you want it to be. It's the power in the story, your story. You can create it and you can transform it. I've transformed my story multiple times. I'm in a transformation of my story right now because my dreams have changed, because my life has changed. And when your life changed, your dreams can change. You see how that works? The power of writing your own story. That means write your own dreams the way you see it, right? The way you want it to be out in the world. You got this download spiritually, you saw something that ignited it in you. Either way it happened. Someone said something, you had an or you had a kairos moment. It's an intense feeling, and you know that you know that you know that you know, and you believe it. So women who believe, women who trust that what you perceive is truly possible for you, you build an incredible amount of strength to push your dreams out of you. That's what I'm going to share right now. Tonight, we're going to talk about the law of attraction when it comes to manifesting. How does that law work? There are several laws that operate the universe. And we're going to talk about the law of attraction and how that law aligns with dreaming into action. And how does manifestation, when you put it in a practice, right, bring these things tangibly in your life? How does that sound? Oh, I'm excited about it. So we're going to talk about the universal law of attraction, and then we're going to talk about manifestation in the idea of practicing it. So it brings these things, these tangible dreams, which are goals, aspirations, visions, ideas that you hold deeply. So if it's lukewarm, I'm going to also ask you to let it go. Because if it's too lukewarm, that means it's you flipping and you up and down, you tripping about it. You having moments where just you trying to fit something, right? A square and a round. And that's just not what we want anymore. You don't have to do that. You're full of ideas. You're full of dreams, which are goals, aspirations, ideas. And it's your time to get clear about them so you can go from dreaming to doing. All right. So I hope that was get you reared up and let you know there's so much more ahead. And we're going to be, I really am getting excited because what I find when you have these kind of moments, not only do you get the guidance you need, the support that's available, you leave saying things like, I'm glad I showed up to this moment with Lori Pelzer. I'm glad I took the risk and I gave myself the chance. and invested in me. And right now, most of you are just investing time. If you haven't upgraded to the VIP ticket for $37, we're struggling with even investing time. So I want to know how we plan to get the dreams and put them in action if we struggle with investing time. Time is, I want you to grab this, it is the commodity for getting in action. You have to have some time, not just some. You're going to probably have to have a lot of it. You're going to have to choose whether you want to go on a trip this weekend or you want to create this weekend, or you want to go on the trip, then come back and create. Either way, you have to decide how it's going to be done. You can't just keep putting it off and think a dream, which is a goal, a vision, an idea, a deeply held aspiration, will just find its way into the world. Because if you don't do it, I shared this yesterday, my final word before we bring our guests on. If you don't do it, it'll take residence up in someone else. I remember studying that, and I remember it blowing my mind. It was at least 12, 15 years ago. And I remember going, whoa, because I've been a dreamer myself a long time. And so the dream will take residence up in someone else. That's what you're saying? If I don't fulfill the dream? Wow. That blew my mind. Because here's the thing. The dream, when it's an important aspect of what the world needs, it's going to find its way out there. It doesn't need all of what we bring with it, the compromise and the approval, the acceptance and all of that. It needs someone to believe. It needs someone willing to manifest it. It needs someone willing to stand for it. It needs a vessel that's willing to stand for it and travel a journey for it. It needs that. It's why we get so excited about people like Beyonce, because as we can see, she lives the dream. Now, I don't want to get hung up here, but I just want you to get excited about that. Think of the person that you most admire, and what's the key to that? Admiration. Is it the way they move toward their dreams? Or it is the way they treat others? Is it the way they show up in their own life? All of that is dreams. All of that aligns with dreams. So when we think about ourselves, which we're supposed to be doing right now, let's take some additional time to do the work. Let's change the way we do what we do. And let's create something new. I'm first in line. I'm planning to have a 2025 that blows my mind. Oh, I see everyone's liking. All right, awesome. So we're going to invite our next guest in. Jessica, I am ready. My tech team, if you're ready, I'm ready. Oh, well, we have her here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, well, let's make sure we can hear her.
Can you hear me?
I see your mouth moving. While she's getting set up and getting her speakers on, I want each of you to do me a favor. I really want you to not just hold this for you. I want you to go share with other women, right? As a collective, we're stronger. And that's just the nature of women energy. It's a spiritual understanding. We're stronger when we are collectively all becoming balanced. And this balance right now, we're talking about dreams. So imagine you got 5 girlfriends, and each of you are reaching toward your goals, your visions, your ideas, your aspirations that you've been holding deeply. And you can have these, remember we call them I call them dream parties. This is what I call them. And everyone puts their ideas on the board, the board. The only problem with that is there's not a lot of action. It's a lot of thinking and talking. The goal here is to get in action. So if you want better friends, introduce them to better things. Like, don't just shop, don't just eat, don't just, sit in your space and go through your own little life stuff and need each other. We got that. But when you have these kind of moments, share with them. And if you're a woman leader joining us, because I know I see the leaders joining us. I want you to go lead your community. Just bring them into the moment, right? It doesn't matter that it's Lori Pelzer. I see you out there. So let's do this together. Say, listen, I do this lady. This lady right here and me, we've had conversations, because what happens is she see you growing, she see you moving. So it makes her, guess what? Lean into you. So let's do this thing together. That's a universal principle as well. Okay. You ready, Natasha? Is your voice on? Okay. Okay. I'm not hearing you. Jessica, can you, I was just going to go out and come back in and help Natasha get set up for us to see if there's anything we can do on our end. You know, just a side note, Girl Go Be Great Lifestyle Success Company, for many years, our focus has been, when we started out, personal development and professional development, right? So professional development, we specialized in working with women entrepreneurs. And I remember my very first course that I created was a 4-week boot camp. So a 4-week business boot camp, 2012. And I'm telling you, it was a great mess. It was so many ideas I had. It was a dream to see women really take on her business and really learn how to do it right, the right strategy, and really put it out in the world. Learning fundamentals and then taking those fundamentals and building on them. And I can remember watching each woman grow week after week after week. But what did I learn? I learned that dream of teaching women business trainings and development, it needed no more weeks than 4. Because I tried to pound it in there. Boom, boom, boom. Sometimes we got these incredible dreams and we try to pound it, right? We just try to boom, boom, boom it. It does need space. It does need opportunity to spread its wings. And that took me a while because I come full throttle. So my stuff get real convoluted sometimes, but I've learned over time. So I want you to begin to give yourself compassion. If you've had a dream and it was big, or you saw it as something different and you tried to boom, boom, boom it. And literally what really was asking you is to give it some space to grow, and you grow with it. Okay, that's a side note. I got a lot of incredible concepts for you guys, you girls, over the next couple of days. So in the other side, as we're getting set up for her, the other note I want to talk, while I'll just keep moving, I could talk to you about this idea from yesterday. We kind of closed it off fast, but the cost of inaction. Not into action, but in action, not being in action. Okay. One of the costs to that is you miss out on really great new relationships. The power of the internet, my company, Girl Go Be Great Tech, this is all tech. This is the power of what technology can do, especially if you're a leader in the marketplace in any way. You have a program that you want to put out in the world. You have a coaching company, a development company. You are a speaker. You could just start speaking on your own stage, right in your own room. You could create a studio like this. You can then start to do your podcast and your YouTube and pull them together. This is what I do when I work with women entrepreneurs. I give her incredible ideas, but that's because of the key that when you have a dream, you know, you have a goal, a vision, an idea, right? You then have to learn how to put that idea to other people so that they can get a piece of it. Because I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it was built for not to either share it or sell it. And we really get stuck in those two. So it's important that you get in action. You won't build the relationship. So tech has given us the opportunity, back to the point, to build relationships. Tech has given us the opportunity that Natasha Clark can join us from the UK. So I'm ready for Natasha when she's ready.
Oh, you ready for me? Can you hear
I
me?
see her mouth, but my tech team
Oh,
is telling me you're ready, but her
I'm
sound
ready.
is not coming through.
Oh.
Why is that? Hmm.
Oh.
Natasha, try to speak.
Uh, can you hear me? Do you have me muted? Have you got me on mute?
Okay, they can hear you, Natasha. So, whatever reason, you and I are not able to hear each other.
I can
So,
hear you.
I can't hear you, and that's okay. So, what I'm going to do is roll with it. Okay. If the world can hear her, with some of you who are here with us, can you let me know if you can hear Natasha? Natasha, say hello.
Hello, hello, lovely ladies. Can you hear me?
Would someone on my team let me know if you can hear Natasha? Okay. Well, I'm going to do something that is really funky. I'm going to not be able to hear Natasha.
Oh no.
I'm going to go out for a moment and come back in. So, Natasha, go ahead and do your intro. Share with the world who you are. Welcome, Girl Greatness, to the Dream into Action Summit 2024. What we're over here doing, as you already know, we're helping women as we close out our year, all of us, right? And we move into 2025. We're helping her get clear guidance, insight on how to dream and get into action. So we're going to talk a little bit about your life and your story, but we also on how you do this thing called get into action and what your some of your dreams were, some that didn't work either, right? Some that you didn't fulfill. But I want you to go and introduce yourself to the group, and I will definitely be right back with you. I'm gonna log out and come back in.
Wonderful, wonderful. Don't we love technology? Don't we love technology, ladies? That's what it does for us and to us. So thank you for having me. I'm so honored and so pleased to be able to be with you at this fantastic summit. This summit is right up my street. It's the kind of thing that I love. I love dreams and manifesting of dreams, making things happen, making those goals happen. So who am I? I am Natasha Clark, and I'm a goals achievement and mindset coach. And what I do is I just help my clients to really dig into what they really want, because sometimes the dreams that we think we want are actually not what we want. We really delve into those things. I love to do that with my clients. We get to really the root of what is required for their life, for it to be what they want it to be, and we explore that. So I love doing that with my clients. I've been doing it for, gosh, I want to say 10 to 15 years, because initially I wasn't really doing it officially, and I've grown into my coaching. I coach and I give, I use different techniques and I use different interventions to help support my clients to deal with the things that are blocking them, really, because we do have those dreams, we have those aspirations, and we get blocks, we get barriers, and sometimes it's through trauma. Sometimes it's just through what we're going through now. Sometimes it's past trauma, and perhaps self-doubt and those things that we all go through at some point, or most of us go through at some point. So that's what I do on a day to day. I see my clients online and I have different programs, etc. And one of my goals was to speak. One of my goals was to be a speaker and to be an international speaker. And when it comes to what Laurie was talking about a little while ago about manifestation and making things happen for yourself, I do really truly believe in manifestation. And linked with that manifestation, what I don't believe in, so it might be controversial for some people, but what I do not believe in is to just focus on it and it will happen like that because you're putting energy into it. I believe that action has to come in. that additional step has to come in. Um, and I like to help people with that. So what I believe, I'm going to, as Laurie's still working out and coming to join us, I really believe that as women, as Black women, it's so important for us to take the journey to make our dreams happen. We, I think, often put our dreams to the side, and that's something that I've done in the past. It's been a huge thing. I've been married for a number of years. I'm celebrating my 28th wedding anniversary this year, actually a couple of weeks ago. And as I've reflected, so this has been a bit of a major year for me. So last month I turned 50. And as I reflected, it was a few years ago, reflecting on my journey and my dream. And I recognized within myself that I've allowed my dream to be on the back burner. And although I've been living life, I've been enjoying life, etc., the things that I personally dreamed about doing, about having, about achieving, I actually put it on the back burner. And I came to a realization that I can't do that anymore. And that's when I decided to open my coaching business and do it officially, put it in the front of my life and manifest and make it happen. And the things that I was doing, that I was putting forward that were not really serving me personally, put those on the back burner. And part of that, as I was saying, was to be speaking. I love to speak. I love to reach audiences. I love to in person. So I hope to, at some point in person, with one of Laurie's fantastic events, to be there in person. But I've manifested this, and I've made sure, and I've made the steps, and I've done the things that I need to do to make this happen for myself. And that's part of the self-love and self-care that we owe ourselves.
You know what I find is so exciting about being a woman is the stories.
Mm.
The stories. I, I don't know anyone else has as many stories as we do. I think cats do.
Because they got the 9 lives, right?
Exactly. Cats have more stories. Somebody need to write that down. Cats have more stories, but we're right up there. Natasha, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being with me, and I'm gonna dive on in because guess what? It's exciting when you get to have a conversation. These are what I call dream talks, talks that help women get in her own intention and allow her to find her way through her own success, very differently than yours. But what I will say, we're more alike than we're different.
True.
Let's talk about how you navigate external challenges when it comes to your dreams and internal doubts. But I want to start with the internal doubts. What has been a dream that you've had over the last 3 years, and then talk about whether or not there's been internal doubt that has caused that dream to get all messed up? What has been one of the dreams you've had in the last couple of years that has not been navigated in the way you wanted it to be, and internal doubts really set in? Not just external stuff yet, but the internal.
For me, unfortunately, it's a reoccurring one. So that I was speaking about before, putting it on the back burner. So for the longest time, myself and my husband, we've run loads of businesses, and I would say post COVID. So I know it's sort of 2, 3, 4 years ago. Um, Within that time frame, I came to the realization that that nurturing part of me, that innate female part of us that makes us put others before us, that makes us make sure our children are good, make sure the pets are good, make sure our parents are good, make sure our friends are good, make sure everybody's good, and we leave ourselves to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, in my professional life, I have put my husband's dreams and wants, etc., before mine. And they say, okay, behind every great man is a powerful woman. This is what they say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, you take pride in being that powerful woman, but fundamentally, is that all you are? Is that who you are? So I'd been doing that for so long, having my own identity. I think everything that I did in business was linked with my husband. So everything, we were just, we might as well been Siamese twins. So that the doubt that I had and the thing that I struggled with was actually taking the step in opening my coaching business as a proper business, not something that I did consulting for another company, but actually stepping out on my own, nothing to do with my husband. And the doubt that came in there was what we all have. Okay, can I do it? Am I good enough? Can I do it on my own? Because I've always had that buffer, I've always had that person. Um, will I make it a success? I
Let's
don't know
stay
if I
there.
felt if I.
Let's stay right there. Will I make it a success? You was reading my notes,
Mm.
right? So let's start right here. You've screwed up in the past, I wrote. So many of
I
us
feel
believe that
I
we've
feel I have.
okay.
Mm.
So we all have
Mm.
felt like we screwed up in the past. Are we
Yeah.
going to screw this one up too?
Mm.
It's such a vulgar word if we think about it. Who told us that we should be using words like screw up? It's so invasive. It's so not woman. We've
Mm.
been working in this masculinity, this idea of the holy grail of what success, getting dreams out look like. So
Mm.
immediately you went into compromising because you had success with your husband. And if
Mm.
I'm right, no shade on husbands, married 30 years almost, come March, I have grown a business with him too. I was the brain. Come on. Let's be clear. He was what he was. He's part of an incredible piece of the puzzle. But for every
Mm.
woman on here that doesn't have a husband, has another type of partner, she may be LGBTQ. She may actually don't want a man, don't want to be in partnership. She's wondering, can she get this dream up and out of her without
Mm.
needing a man or needing all of these things people tell us we need, and not to have in her brain, number one, I wrote self-criticism,
Mm.
the biggest
Yep.
killer. So that's what you were operating in a little bit, right? But you'd already proven to
Absolutely.
yourself that you can do this.
Absolutely. I've proven to myself time and again, I know I could do it. Within myself, I know I can do it. But you have those doubts. It's you don't have a cheerleader. You don't have someone telling you it's right because there's no rule book. We're so unique in what we do. We may, there'll be women here in this summit who are coaches as well, but how they coach and the experience they have and where they're coming from will be different to me. Their story, their past traumas, their past challenges, their past wins will always be different. So each of us are so unique. There's not one of us are the same, and not one thing that works for me will necessarily work for you, and necessarily work for Jane or Sarah or whatever other woman there is out there. So those are the doubts um, that I had. My thing is I had to coach myself. I had to coach myself because it's a little bit more pressure on me also because that's my business. That's what I do. So then I had
So you
to.
had to use the skill set
Mm-hmm.
the experiences and the expertise that you have, because you have them. I just saw you in front of a big room of business people from all over the globe, all over. It was just UK. You were in Amsterdam, right? Amsterdam.
Yeah.
If you got that, then you got that. So here's what's set in. I want everybody to grab this. We are extremely critical of self. So what stops the action of a dream, which is a goal, a vision, an aspiration? You're hearing Natasha tell you she knew she had it, but that question showed up. There goes compromising. It showed up. We talked about it. Will I screw this up? And here it goes. You write this down and don't forget it. You got to get clear on this one truth. Are you going to stay in guilt and shame and self-criticism of yourself in every turn of every goal and every vision and every idea? Because if it happened once, it happens twice. If it happens twice, Natasha, I believe that, and then it happens 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. It becomes a part of who we are because we all talk about it. So how do we stop that and get into action? And the key is Natasha's going to help me and her going to help you stop it. How did you stop it? How did you tell your body what to feel, and how did you move forward?
There are different things, different elements to it. One of the elements is to face, recognize, accept. So what I will say, keeping it PG, don't give yourself a BS story. Do not buy into your BS story. Oh, I can't do anything. Oh, it's victim. No, you are not a victim. You are able to face these barriers, these obstacles, these issues that have, and these doubts you have, understand them, and then let's start dismantling them. That's the first thing to do, because just sitting in it and accepting it and using that as the reason why that dream is never going to happen for me, the reason why, oh, that's never going to be for me because no. For me, that's BS. There will be certain things that, okay, we can't do in reality. But if you look at, there's people who have lost limbs, can't walk, they can't, and they are achieving things you would not possibly think that able-bodied people cannot do.
Right. I've seen it. It's mind-blowing.
Right. So, and the only reason why they're able to break that barrier is because they've dismantled that obstacle in front of them and they've worked out how to work around it.
Wow.
They've really,
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt. You were still flowing.
they are really resilient, and getting that resilience to be able to say, okay, all right, it's a barrier, it's an obstacle, there's always going to be, let's deal with it.
So do
Let's
we practice
dismantle it.
resilience daily? Should that be more of a mantra for us to know that resiliency goes with the territory of reaching goals and
Yeah.
visions and ideas? We shouldn't be thinking we need to tap into resilience only when we need it. It really is something we should have as part of our everyday, give
Yes.
me strength to be resilient kind of thing.
I believe so. I definitely believe so. Being resilient is not automatic. Being resilient is a choice. When we get up each day, we do, in a way, we practice it and we don't necessarily realize. We maybe call it habits. So there are people who have mental health struggles. And when they get up, they're dealing with depression. They have to be resilient to say, okay, no, I'm going to push myself to get up and brush my teeth. Something as simple as brush my teeth and wash my face. As simple as maybe even getting out of the bed.
Okay, that is
Right.
powerful.
Some of us have that as habits. But when we look at it in terms of what we're doing in and talking about in this summit, the resilience to show up every day to work towards that dream that you have for yourself, that resilience for when you're at a plateau or when you've got a setback. Every day you have to be intentional. Every day.
Intentionality.
Yes. I love being intentional.
So here
Make
is
it a
a
choice.
practical step.
Hmm.
Every day, practice resiliency by way of intentionality.
Yeah.
When you set an intention, which is a, I believe, when I think about intention, it's an idea of that thing actually manifesting for me. Like I'm going to manifest my idea today in a way that feels good to me. You kind of understand what your flaws may be, what your strengths are, and you lean in more to
Hmm.
making sure that you make an action today, whether it's a small step, but a action.
Yes.
Whether
Because that
you,
for me is,
okay,
sorry, go on. Go on.
no, go ahead, I'm listening.
That for me is exactly it. So that manifestation can only come about with an action.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's no manifestation. For me, there are people who believe that. I do not believe that you just sit and you think about it and it's going to happen for you and you just draw it towards you. No, I believe that you must take some action. We, you know, manifestation, if you're just going to manifest and think about manifesting in a way, that's just having faith that it will happen. Okay. Um, some of us will be taught faith without works is dead. It's not going to happen. So
Mm-hmm.
for me, if you're going to have manifestation, it's something you're going to do and you accept that that's what you need to do, action has to come with it. They work together.
Because here's the opposite: not getting in action, not practicing resiliency daily, not practicing intentionality, being in intention, I intend. Then what happens is you start to have these destructive forces that you leave, the destructive forces
Mhm.
in your life, because there are those. It can be family, it could be the job, it could be your business, the things that we don't like, the things that get in interrupt us. So we leave that destructive device to its own ability to make us feel like we are unable. And in those feelings, it's hard to cut through those feelings. It's hard to chop that tree down, especially alone, especially when you don't have the support, because this is why community is important. This is why women have to do more than just sit on social media, but be a part of a community. You have to find a new community. I am really hoping that Natasha, Girl Will Be Great, Lifestyle Success Company, and you and I will build, because we talked about it, community in the UK
Yeah.
coming into 25. It is my big dream to have 4 hubs, and that is a big old lofty dream. But what Jessica's helping me figure out is how do we build these with the less amount of um, revenue, but with giving big opportunity.
Mhm.
So that means we may need to partner with the already up center. You see, to get dreams on the ground, you need right strategies. Let's talk about that before we go. What has been some of your right strategies that have given you all the freedom? Right, you reached the goal, you did get it done because your business is up, your coaching business is moving. So,
Yeah.
what is that right strategy? That sense of freedom and lightness among the external forces came. You had the internal obstacles, but there's light and there's freedom when you got in action. What was that? What was that sense? How did that come about? How did you get there?
I'm a very I'm a person who needs structure. I'm a person who needs I need it down. I need a plan. I need action plan. I need things right. I know what I'm doing. That's just how I work. So I don't do things on the fly. So for me, it
How
was
many of y'all
about
do that? How many of y'all need it written down? You need to see it. You need to really, really, really see it. And you
Mm.
don't do the fly. Ooh, I do flies. Ah.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I'm getting better with it because I'm telling you that fly ain't no joke. You be swatting
Doing
at
it
it.
on the fly and just it's like this, wondering where the wind is going to blow. I'm very detail orientated, so that's really important for me, and that's how I've been able to make it happen. And I do recognize that a lot of people do it on the fly. A lot of people, I think most of us have the struggles, the same sort of struggles, those struggles with the unsupportive family and friends, the naysayers, the people who are rubbishing what you do. They're not backing you up. Limited resources. You spoke earlier about time and making the time, and how can you get that done.
Mhm.
Financial might be a resource that you struggle with. We also struggle with society. We might be dealing with racism, sexism, prejudice in what we do, where we're working, and all of that. So those are the obstacles that we have, and then we have those internal obstacles where with our self-doubt, our fear, our failure, and our critic, that we don't feel like we're deserving, or maybe it's not going to happen, or maybe we've tried and we've failed, and just taking it as, okay, it's a failure, I'm turning away. Ladies, you mustn't do that. A failure is just a learning opportunity, and then you take that and have that in your plan. Just put that in your plan for how you're going to achieve what you want. For my working pattern is 7 years, so the number seven is very important to me, and seven is something that I work towards, such an important number. So I do a 7 year plan, work back,
So
and that.
you re-engineer. You heard that she works backwards. So
Yeah.
you create your plan from that standpoint of how you work.
Mhm.
More so, you work from a logical brain place versus this, you know, fly heart place. You
Mhm.
blend them together to get and mix your passion, and you work your plan backwards. Something I call reverse engineering.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
start with the end in mind, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. I start with the 7 year large plan. And this is what I do with my clients as well. We work on that. We brainstorm. We really rehash those. So those big, hairy, audacious goals, like the one that you have in terms of having the 4 hubs, it's a beautiful thing. So, right, okay. So we're going to have that in 7 years. Now, in order for us to have that in 7 years, now let's work back. Where do we need to be in 5 years?
Got it.
Where do we need to be in 3 years? Where do we need to be in 1 year? And we work it back until we get to what are we doing this month then? And then we have to be accountable, and then I do accountability, so I will help my clients to get there. So we have to be accountable to ourselves. Even if we don't work with a coach, we must be accountable, and we have to show up every day. We have to show up every day, and we have to test and see what we're doing. We're going to get derailed. There's going to be something. Health is going to get in the way. Life is going to get in the way. Your money's going to get in the way. Things are going to happen in life that the plan that we made is going to have to change. I heard you mention earlier, you had dreams, and your dreams have changed because your life has changed, and that happens. That's just part of life. It's part of the journey. What you're not doing, which I love about you, is you're not then just saying, all right, okay, I give up. I'm sitting. It's done. It's done.
Woo!
No.
I got to get my clicker. My clicker was on the way and didn't make it. My claps, and I think it's going to be delivered today by Amazon. My claps. I needed my claps.
I want those little.
Definitely. Whew.
Yeah.
I need to say something really quick in there when you said that. So, do you think that we should be okay? Because this is where we helping women dream into action. So we know that these things get in the way. Woo. And we thought about that these things could get in the way, but we haven't made space for them. We planned the dream, which is the goal, vision, idea, aspiration, but we don't
Mhm.
have spaces in there for the what ifs. I believe that we should put what ifs in there. And that's what we're going to do in the co working session. You will read my
Nice.
notes. So, part of what I'm doing, I believe that you can add it in your practice with your clients, the what ifs. You know that they exist. So, why don't we block out some what ifs?
Mm-hmm.
And whatever those what ifs are, so we could stop living inside of the repeat cycle of really feeling like we're going to screw it up or screwing it up, which is really all the screw up word really means is those big, spectacular, out of the world mistakes, the ones you think you can't come back from.
Yeah.
So why don't we just do that so we can stop repeating, so we can feel a
Yeah.
sense of freedom while we're working on the goals,
Mm-hmm.
which is the dream, the aspiration, the vision, the idea, because that's what I'm finding. As you talked about planning the weeks, planning the months, we don't plan for the what ifs. So when it hits us, or we have to pivot, or we have to shift, like when COVID hit the world,
Mm-hmm.
people lost their dreams. Women
Yeah.
lost their dreams. What is it that you want to teach women? I see we have the QR code as we close out, juggling multiple goals course. Now ooh, that is a sure kill. That is a surefire way of not reaching goals. So we need to learn how to be this multitasker that we really are.
Mm-hmm.
But it don't
Mm-hmm.
always settle well because most women don't know how to do it. It's like a WTF. I'm not cussing today. I'm just using acronyms. My daughter said I need to stop cursing. Yep.
Uh,
So I'm working on it. I'm going to work on it as of today. I'm committing. So what do we need to do, Natasha, with you in juggling multiple goals course? What is it that you want to teach women among the countless incredible things that you already teach? What is that teaching looks like to help her get to her dreams?
I think it's important. I would first say, let's get the goals. You must write down what you want to do. Do a little brainstorm. Do a vision plan. Do a whatever it is. Get it down. Write it down. That's separate to this little, this little freebie course that I've put here for you. Um, this is just to really understand that you can juggle goals. It's okay to be doing multiple things. It's okay, and you are able to do it. Um, I think it's important to reach out and ask for help where you need it. And you're going to have some fantastic speakers here, who will give you even more to be able to grab onto. But I would say, for me, the exercise of just writing down and getting down on paper those things that you want to achieve is is key, because that's your starting point. And don't second guess yourself. Don't try and ratify anything when you do this exercise. When I do this exercise with my clients, it's just first having a few minutes of just clearing your mind, just being in an area where you're not disturbed. You just have a nice big piece of paper, or sometimes if I do it online, I will do it online with them. And you literally just brainstorming what you want. You're just stopping, eyes closed, visualize, dream, just take yourself to that place. Where do you want to be? What do you want to be doing?
Mm.
And get it down on paper. Don't think about how you're going to do it. Don't think, oh, well, I can't do it because of this and because of that. And because, no, don't ratify it. Don't try and do it at that point. Just dream big. What do you desire? And put that down, and then you work back from there. And I think if each and every one of you from today decide to do that as a start point, that is a fantastic start point. And then if you need support in now making that a reality, talk to me. Talk to me. I do. I do also have a clarity session. So if anybody would like to reach out, I do have a free clarity session, 20-minute clarity session. We have a little chat, But it'll be great for you to do that exercise beforehand. It's such a wonderful exercise. I love it. I love to see when people do it, just the expression on the face, the joy that it brings when you think about achieving your goal, when you think about living in it and waking up and it being a reality, the way that the face changes, the way that the don't think about so tempo, don't think about how you're going to do it, just dream big. 100%. 100%.
That goes back to trusting your body. That I mean, I don't know any other way to put that. So I want to close us out. I believe that Natasha is a powerful strategic coach, logistic, like she really gets the elements of how to do something while she gets you in a mode of how to do, because a lot of women are like me, right brains, and we sit and we go in that thing without counting the cost. And I've had to learn how to work with people like you, Natasha. And Jessica, my daughter, she's like you. She's logistics. She wants to know the cost. She wants me to pay attention to the fine print. I've learned this over years. I'm in business, so I don't try to read the contract. I let the attorney read the contract. I really play upon my strengths. So the truth is, a clarity session that you're offering, wonderful gift. Thank you for offering that to women as we end the year. She needs that because transformation is a process, and first you must get clear. Mm-hmm. So there'll be a lot of women that still will be leaving here like, okay, Natasha, I hear you. I need to write this down. I need to do that. But I've done that. I've gathered some, 50 pages of that. Your goal is to get clear, though. Yeah. The goal is to get clear. So I want to tell you what me and Natasha broke down for you. We're all going to have the barriers that we got to break down in order to keep moving. But Natasha shared when she decided to move beyond just her and her husband businesses that were successful. She wanted to teach other women and coach, do the thing called help, train, and develop. Mm-hmm. Then all her loud noise started. And inside of that loud noise, she heard the word I said earlier, the screw up word. Don't screw this up, which is just an extreme way of saying you're going to fail. She had to drown that out. And she did some exercises. She was coaching herself because she's an expert. And she learned that she had to tout resiliency every day. The message of resiliency. The mode of resiliency, like walk it out. Like she said, some people, women we know, struggle with anxiety and panic, and those fears have taken over her body, or she suffers through mental illness or mental wellness issues, and it's just hard putting one foot in front of the other. So each day that has to be an intention. So as she set the intention and she practiced what she preached, her resiliency and her intentions, her belief, then of course she had support. I know her husband peeped his head up and said, okay, babe, what you need? At least once a month. Just once a month. When she goes, listen, you need to, do you see me over here? I can't help you with that today. I just can't do that today. So I want you to grab hold of these last three. When you hold bad feelings about yourself, you can count on not going from dreaming to doing. You're going to have to work on those bad feelings, right? So Natasha had good feelings about herself. Am I right, Natasha? You overall have good feelings about yourself?
100%. 100%.
Okay.
100%. Listen, in the background, I had, on the surface, I had good feelings. Deep, not so good. Not
Okay,
all,
so it
because
was
that's
down
women.
deep for her. Some women, it's bubbling right up here at the top. As soon as she
Mm,
says
mm,
dream, it goes, it captures her. So the
mm,
real work before the work to continue the work is to do what? Love yourself. One of the principles is to love thy neighbor, but love thyself. One of the principles of being on an airplane when it's going down, right? We all know it. They tell us to do what, Natasha?
yeah, you gotta put the mask
I'm doing it like
the life
the
jacket on
yeah,
yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
because
I'm probably one of the few people that
you
pay
can't
attention
help
to
them.
them when they're doing all of yeah,
You
because I
can't
want to
help. You
make
can't
sure.
help others if you're not helped yourself. You couldn't do what you do. I couldn't do what I do if I do not help myself first. You would not be able to do what you do, Laurie, if you couldn't do it yourself for yourself, and now you can then support other women to be able to achieve.
And guess how
We
hard that can
definitely.
be sometimes. That too requires me to repeat to myself and be a resiliency. I want to quit this morning. I did. I woke up with a migraine this morning. It was a little one. So if it's little, you have to find, take the migraine pill. I only get them when there is a long stretch and or some things that have taken my frequency up and down. And so I have a husband that's really going through a really, really tough time and a dog who's acting like, if he don't get the ground 3 times a day, 4 times a day, not to pee. He don't want to pee. He wants to ground. And I needed to help him learn to ground. So he wants to lay out in the sun, the cool breeze. He wants to walk. This is very serious, y'all. I am serious. So let's go back to the point. If you're holding those bad feelings about yourself, which is like having water weight, when our menstruals are coming on and we get bloated, it's like feeling like that every time you go to reach for a dream.
Mm,
And it happens a lot. Every woman bodies does something different. That's why I know dreams are so valuable because they land right in our body, right? And so in closing, I would say leave room for the what ifs.
yeah.
Juggling multiple goal course, there's what ifs. You have to have space and have that form in order to be able to say yes to the what ifs. Other than that, you will be stuck inside of feeling a sense of no freedom, reaching for goals. It don't have to be, I think, grudgingly. Did you have any freedom on your way? That's our final word. On the way there, did you have any fun? Was there any sense of this is exciting for me?
I was definitely excited about what I'm working towards and what I want to achieve. I've had guilt
Mhm.
because I feel that, okay, I'm putting myself first, and that is a huge thing as well. That guilt with putting yourself first and going for your dreams can leave you feeling guilty, which you should not. It's part of our joy, and joy is a necessity. Joy is a
Mhm. Hold
necessity.
on, let's make sure everybody get that. Joy is a necessity. I'm glad we did this final word because that was golden. Joy is a necessity. What I find is we don't have enough the sense of freedom, which looks like joy, on the way there. So
Mm,
everybody get that? You're gonna have to have some joy. I often tell my clients when they're creating big ideas that they have to step back from the idea. I didn't say scrape it. I said step back, take a look at it retrospectively, take some time away from it, even if it's a day or two.
mhm.
So joy. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
got it. I like that
Right.
one. I've struggled with that. I get real serious about my dreams. I'll fight
Mm.
somebody about my dreams. I will.
Yeah.
I, you know why?
I don't see you. I think we should. I definitely think you should fight, but have the joy at the same time. But fight. Don't let them come and try and stop, block. Fight, fight, fight. I will. I'm all for that. I am all
Okay.
for that.
Natasha's a
I'll
fight.
fight
I
with
knew
you.
that. I knew she was a fighter when me and her drank 5 glasses of wine, but it was Mary. So I don't know if Mary's joining us, but it was Mary that started the wine drinking over in London. I said, "No, Mary, I'm good. I'm good. I'm trying to be like I still got to go to my room, my hotel, which is 30 minutes away, and I'm in an Uber, and I don't want to be caught." But Natasha was willing to take care of me. But before you knew it, we were talking and drinking and drinking and talking about dreams, our goals, our visions. So women, we do that in joy. But when we get in our alone time, it becomes lonely,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So let's maybe practice a little glass of wine while we're dreaming it, right? Let's do a
Intentional
little
joy.
yoga pose while we're dreaming it.
Mhm.
Let's do a little bit more music. I'm talking to
Mhm.
myself now because these are new things that I want to work on,
Okay.
because we can become very high strong. And like Natasha says, worth fighting for. I want that to be another word we learned today. But here's what we want to do. We want to fight right.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's what I've been practicing. Like, Laura, you can't just fight it all the way to the end. It kills the energy. It dampers your energy. So you got to figure out how to fight. So taking a warm bath, that's fighting for your dream. You're feeling overwhelmed. So just get in that warm bath,
Mhm.
right?
It's look, we could talk for the whole summit on the, it's just this is what I love in terms of all the different aspects of goals, goal achieving, dreaming, but those fundamentally important things, just what you've just mentioned in terms of looking after yourself, self-care is huge. So
Number
because
one.
you cannot go the distance without caring for yourself. You have to care for yourself to start off with this dream anyway. But for you
Mhm.
to be resilient enough to keep going, you have to celebrate wins. You have to love yourself. You have to have those bars, the glass of wine, the chilling out, the small things that seem insignificant, but they're the things that will keep propelling you through. They will give you the fight that you need, but fighting right, and they'll give you the insights that will help you to reach out where you need to reach out. They will ensure that your mental health is maybe where it needs to be. But when we are stressed, all right, what are you going to do? We're going to have a community that Laurie's creating. So this is so powerful, this movement, and to be able to tap into this and to be at the beginning of this that is being developed, that's being
Yeah, this
birthed
thing.
now. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's got tentacles, it's going to be worldwide. And this is the, you spoke about where, where we're creating something. This is the womb right here, what we're doing. This is the womb, and we're starting this baby, and it is growing, which
Oh,
is,
thank you,
it's
Natasha. That's
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Ooh,
It's very
that just
exciting.
gave me a little chills. Wow. All right. Okay. We made it. This is what I always tell women who are struggling through understanding how to do what we're doing right now. Nike says just do it. I say definitely just do it, but definitely get your support to learn how to do it.
Mm, yeah.
Okay? Because we don't have to be on these islands alone. Reach out to Natasha. You see the QR code on the screen. If my team would put the link also inside of the feed, wherever you're joining us from, I want to thank you for joining us from LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, here on the Restream app. You were awesome, Natasha. You always are. You look amazing. I love the braids in your hair. I hadn't seen your hair braided up before. And you look pretty. I love your
Thank
lipstick
you.
color today. Tell your husband I say hello.
I
Happy
will.
anniversary to y'all. I saw pictures, and I hope you had a lot of great, and did a lot of great, and, and dreamed of what the next 30 years looks like, because you're
Uh,
there.
yeah.
I saw the pictures when y'all were so young. He was so on you too. He was looking at you in one of them pictures like, and you was kind of like, And there was pictures when y'all was like this, and your wedding pictures were amazing.
Yeah,
You know,
thank
those
you.
days, right? We could just go back to the wedding day.
So,
For those of you who are not married yet, don't get married. I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Because listen, girl, greatness. Talking about a dream. We dream every woman to have the love that she desires. Thank you, Natasha, for joining us from the UK.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Love you, girl, greatness. We'll be in touch soon about what we're doing in 25 and the encore to this in December. I love you. Take care. You go be
Wonderful.
great.
Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Woo! That was awesome. So we go today to 2:00. We're about to have our next guest speaker, Shamitria Johnson. This is going to be a rich call. And what I would like to do is, Jessica, can we take a 2-minute break? I'm going to make sure that everyone gets ready for the next session. You could turn some music on the screen and the opening that we had when we came in, and I'll be right back with everyone in less than. Let's go with a 3-minute break. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. So let's let's just have a dream party. Like there's some stuff I got planned for the next 2 days. You're not going to want to miss Tuesday. You're not going to want to miss Wednesday. You know how when a train first start, I've been thinking about this train ride, by the way. It's in Switzerland and there's another one in Canada. And I got to go do some train rides. My daughter used to, when she was going to undergrad, she went to undergrad here in the U.S. at a school called Hampton University. It's one of the most historic HBCUs in the country, in the world. I'm sure there's some great universities in Africa, definitely. And I know that there are some great ones in, I know, Oxford, but Black schools, right? There's just something about that experience. And I was just so happy for her to have that experience. I didn't get to go to college. I had to get my education through the military. So my dreams had to be redesigned. Before we bring our next speaker guest for our dream talk, I want you to grab hold of this, take it with you, and just really, really own this, what I'm about to share. You can own it for yourself. When your dreams have to be redesigned, it's okay. It just really is okay. It took me a long time to learn that, like a long time. And I didn't realize that the redesigning of my dreams was what that was called. I didn't have a name for it at the time. I mean, I'm 18 years old. I'm in the military at 18. I have 2 babies that I had back to back. I went through some traumatic experiences. I said earlier, like I thought I was running away from poverty. But what I was running to was a dream life. So I got a new book coming out, my first book that I've been working on for 20 years. I realize now why this book has taken me so long. The dream book, it had to have everything in it, right? Lori, the way she thinks. But the truth is, there's books to follow. So now I understand why the idea and the vision of the book mattered so much, because there's a different level of books that will follow. This is the story of Lori, and then the books to follow are more specific into how to be an incredible, a great businesswoman. Or all of my business books. I didn't understand all at the time, so why am I sharing this with you? You and your dreams, which is goals, vision, aspirations, ideas, they will have to also be reframed, redesigned, reframed, and that is okay. It's just that you don't stop. If it truly is yours and it truly is something that's been given to you to do, to accomplish, you don't stop. We've heard stories, the stories of Wendy's. Here in the US, Wendy's is a big story. I'm sure you've seen and heard of stories that just blow you away. They worked on this for 20 years. They did this for 10 years. They didn't go out to eat for 3 years. Well, I'm going out to eat today. I need to go out to eat. But this is the ideas of how you dream into action. And one of them, today's lesson for you and me in this moment, is the dream can be reframed. It can be redesigned. And it's okay. So if the first dream talk got you pumping, got your blood flowing, and the notes from that were just phenomenal, then get excited. Because we're going to close out today, our midday session. We'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our Africa sisters will be asleep, or you'll be trying to hang up in the middle of the night and catch a dream talk. I'm with you on that. UK sisters will be somewhat halfway asleep. So our US sisters will definitely be a part of this conversation tonight. I look forward to seeing you here 7 to 10 p.m. Listen, let's bring on our next dream speaker guest. Hello, Sharmitria.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited. Sitting here taking notes and making sure that I can have all of my dreams become a reality. And I wanted to say thank you to Natasha and of course Lori. Lori's always so special and she's special to me. But Natasha gave some great advice and points. Sharing, I'm so glad she was able to share her vulnerability because
Mhm.
sometimes we don't do that and understanding that attaining our dreams can be done logistically. I'm one of those logistic people. Sometimes that's a perfection of being perfect.
Yeah, that.
And then joy is definitely a necessity. It is
Wasn't that
definitely.
awesome? What
Hmm.
it was that one thing that dropped? Joy is a necessity. That changed everything. Joy
Everything
is
is a
a
necessity.
necessity. I mean, that should be. I think we could go run on that one. What y'all think, girl greatness out there in the world? Those who are joining us and those who
Absolutely.
will be on the replay
Absolutely.
got a lot of
Absolutely.
great notes. I like that
Yes.
one too, Shar. I think that that one was
Mhm.
great, Shamitra. Joy in the midst, and then it ended up necessary because
Yes.
I've been trying to figure out why does it feel so hard to women to get into action with her dreams, which is goals, aspirations, visions, and
Mhm.
ideas. There are many reasons. That's what we're here to do, to explore them. And as you can see, when we explore, we come up with answers
Mhm.
as to why it's so vital that women get in communities that they can be fed.
Absolutely.
Right? Sit
Absolutely.
down, get your drink of wine, get your favorite, Starbucks, your favorite tea,
Yeah.
and get some support. We're going to need this more than ever with the way the world globally is being set up.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you. Look amazing. Your hair is, you know, just bunning. And
Thank
as you
you.
know,
Thank
you're
you.
my hairstylist. So um, I'll let some of this drop today. I want to
Absolutely.
dive right in. I want you to share who you are. Like, really, who are you as a woman? But before you do that, let's go with your girl. Like, how do you grow up? I always love your grow up story. So I think
Mhm.
women could actually use some of that today because a lot of times when we're dreaming to put our dreams in the world, we don't always come from places that support our dream idea, not from saying approval. I'm talking about just an environment, right? We all come from different environments. So some of us it's just universally harder.
Yeah.
And I love your come up story from girl. So let's talk a little bit about that for a few minutes.
Yeah. So, hello, everyone. Again, I grew up in Southern California, and I grew up. I'm the baby of the family. I have three other siblings. They're 12, 14, 13, and 11 years older than I am. And so, baby of the family, they always say that we get, the best of the world. But I grew up in a family that we all got pretty much the same treatment. I feel that way. Um, I also knew at an early age that I wanted to become a hairstylist. Didn't know how, but my mother did hair in the kitchen. And I saw, just the impact that she had on the women who would come through the door and get their hair done. And so I play with my dolls. I burnt my doll's hair up, and my mom got me a doll with real human hair so that I could not burn the hair out. But I saw that as she would be doing their hair, they would be talking and kiki and cacaing and all that stuff. That how when they came in, it may have been a little bit drab, but then when they left or while she was doing their hair, it was just a joy that overcame these women. And I I took that as, oh, this is something that I think that I really would like to do. I left California, and I came to Georgia in 1991 to attend Clark Atlanta University, which is another historically Black college, HBCU. And my major was business administration. My concentration was management.
Mhm.
But I knew at an early age that I did not want to necessarily go into corporate America. I knew that I wanted to do something a little bit more. I wanted freedom. I wanted flexibility. When I was a little girl, I would look out the window and I would see, we had these big windows that you could see the mountains. And I would always dream of getting over those mountains, even though I had probably been over those mountains several times. But my dream was, what am I going to do when I get over those mountains? So hence I came to Atlanta, Georgia. And while I was in school, I took an entrepreneurial class, and I was able to create a business plan. And this business plan was a salon that also included a daycare.
Mhm.
And I quickly realized that I didn't necessarily want a daycare, even though that was something that just came about, because I was like, I don't want to deal with kids. But not that I don't like kids, because I do. But I just realized that that's not something that I wanted to do. But needless to say, after I graduated, my parents were like, "You're going to get a job, you're gonna you graduate, you get you get an education, and you get this great job." And I realized early on that that was not the life that I wanted. But not needless to say, I did go into corporate America, and I was working. But I decided that again, this is not what I wanted. And so my story started really when I left corporate America and started working at Spelman College. And you may think that that was corporate, but for me, it was a little bit different. And Spelman College is also historically Black college. And I became a resident director. So I managed 4 residence halls, about 10 professionals, and then about 25 paraprofessionals. But while I was there, a light bulb went off, and I said, I'm going to go and get my cosmetology license. And so I did. And so my dream became a reality, even though I had I mean, when I worked there, I can tell you some stories, but I'm not, about some of the things that I had to endure. But one of the things that stood out for me is one of the trainings that I had. And the training was, because I was on a judicial board, the training was, how to deal with, crises and dealing with people. And so the main caveat that I took away from it was, when in crisis, most people, when you're dealing with judicial matters, all they want is for you to listen to them. And that struck me as, okay, listening is essential. And so when I finally got into the salon, that's something that I realized early on, is that listening to my clients, understanding what they're going through, was essential. Is essential because people come in with all kinds of issues, and and not that they're all bad, but they just want sometimes they just want somebody to talk to. And
Mhm.
so that was, for me, just great. And that's why I continued to be in the industry. I also went on to work for product development companies. And I'm sure some of you all, I won't name them, but they are products that you probably use. And let me tell you this, and I'm being vulnerable right here, because when I was offered the position, or it came to me, I didn't necessarily know what I was doing, but I decided to do it anyway. And so I was testing products and making sure that the marketing claims matched what was going on with the hair. Now, if I would have said no to that, I probably wouldn't be here talking to you all, because I made the decision to move forward and learn on the job, basically. And that opened up so many other doors for me. But hair and self care for women is ideal, because if you're not taking care of yourself, what happens? you become stuck. And I am in the business of making sure that my clients and anyone else that I come across become unstuck. Um, Let me just share this with you. For this is an analogy, and Lori can attest to this. When my clients come in the first time, especially if you're a first time client, I always make sure that I exfoliate the scalp, because I have to get rid of all the debris, anything that's on your hair, anything that's on your scalp that's not allowing your follicles to breathe and not allowing your hair to grow. Right. I exfoliate the scalp, and then I'm able to put the nutrients back into the scalp so that it can flourish. So that analogy is the same thing. It's you can use it with your life, right? Sometimes you have to remove some things, and exfoliate some things out of your life in order for you to grow, and it's okay. That's a part. That's about self-care. Um, as Black women, sometimes we are carrying the load. We're carrying everything on our backs and our shoulders, and we're like, okay, I'll take care of myself later. And that's a no-no. I talk to my clients all the time. When they come in, sometimes I have to give them a little lecture, because I know that they are not taking care of their themselves. Why? Because through their hair, it's hair and scalp care. It's amazing how much
Mhm.
we understand and know about what's going on in a person's life. Sometimes when my clients come in, I'm like, let me put a little bit of oil right here. They don't even know what I'm doing because they're carrying so much. And I tell them, leave it at the door. And when you leave, don't pick it back up. Try not to pick it back up, because I want to make sure that I'm taking care of you the best way that I can. Embracing self-care is good, and it needs to be a routine. That's something that needs to happen at least, if you can't do it twice a month, if you can't do it every week, at least once out of the month. Because I'll use this analogy, and I'm sure you've heard of this before. When you're on that plane and they tell you if the plane is getting ready to crash, or
Yep.
they get ready to have an emergency and that oxygen tank comes down, what do they tell you to do? They tell you to put your mask on first so that you can breathe, so that you can help someone else. So it's the same thing in life. You got to take care of you. You have to start, if you have a business, it's okay to not know everything. See, that was my problem, because being a perfectionist, I'm trying to have everything in order. It's okay not to have everything in order. But it's also okay for me to um, take care of myself and take care of my business and take care of the things that I need to take care of before I can even take care of someone else. Now, I don't have any children. I have a stepdaughter. I didn't birth any kids myself, and I have 3 grandkids, right? And I love them to death, and I will do for them. So I know that I'm speaking on not having kids, but I do have some, right? But you still have to take care of yourself before you can take care of your family.
Always.
Always. So, self-care gives you that mental clarity. Um, it allows you to sit back and really assess the things that you need for your business, for yourself. Um, and then you're able to propel or to move forward. But if you don't have that mental clarity, then that's not going to happen, right? And you're gonna be stuck, you
So
know.
stay right there, Shamitra.
Mhm.
So, oh yeah, that's good. Sometimes you have to exfoliate certain things out of your life in order to grow. That's great. Thank you so much, Purity. I want to let every woman sit in all the things that you've shared so far. And I want her to really dive into the correlation of dreams.
Mhm.
So I want everyone to get your notepad out, and I want you to grab this. When you see me over here looking and doing, I'm writing. And it's important for me to even dive in because I'm learning as we're teaching. So we're talking about two things that are coming together. We're talking about for none of us, we would be anything without our scalps. Our dream is like our scalp.
Mm-hmm.
That was a note that I didn't have, but I gained that out inside of listening intently with Sharmitra. Our dreams are like our scalps. They must be what, Sharmitra? Let's just start from the top. That's off the top of your head. They must be what?
Exfoliated first, cleared of debris so that you have room to receive.
Natasha just sent a message and said, black hair is our crown.
It is our crown. It is our glory. And we have to pay attention to it. Listen, when you are not, I think, Laura, you spoke about this. You said we have to start paying attention to our bodies. There was
Yes.
an issue that came out with one of, I think it was Mael, about the hair, about the product causing some hair to thin out and to some people to lose hair. But, and someone was asking me about that. And I told them, I said, listen, before that even happened, before they lost all of the hair, there were some signs there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You probably, your hair density, meaning that, you know, you might have had some thick hair and it started becoming thin, or you might have felt like a itchy, crawly feeling in your scalp.
Mm-hmm.
There were some
Mm-hmm.
signs before it got to the point of no return. And so with that, we have to pay attention to what's going on with our bodies, mentally, physically, all of that, in order so that we won't get to the point of no return.
So there we go. So if in fact we're going to compare the dream to the scalp and the scalp, then we got to self-care our dreams too.
Absolutely.
So here's what's happening. We went there fast. Oh, this is yummy. Grab all of this. So the dream, if it's our scalp, like the scalp, that's how sensitive it is. That's where growth comes from. The growth doesn't come from all this right here. That didn't grow my hair back. Matter of fact, I didn't have this much hair before. But okay. It was the scalp.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time she finished doing all that stuff she be doing to me, like the other day, I was like, I didn't care how my hair looked. What style didn't matter. So we're trying to style up the dream without exfoliating and cleaning it and massaging it and all the things, giving it the nourishment that it needs.
Yeah. The
Giving
style
it
is
the
only one
care.
part. Styling is just, it's I'm not gonna say it's non-essential, but because, you know, styling is, you know, we want to look, you know, we want our hair to look a certain way, but it's not gonna, if your scalp, or if internally, because I didn't even get to that either, but if internally you're not doing well, you're stressed, your hormones are all out of whack, your styling is gonna be, you know, pretty much null and void.
Well, I see that all
Because,
the time. I've been there.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've been there. So when in that, I'm gonna correlate it back, and then we're gonna go straight self-care. I want you to grab these analogies because I just put those together because those were not on my notes, but they dropped, so I honored them. On my notes was intuition. I want everybody to grab this, and connection. Intuition and connection, which is another universal principle. It's more like universal intelligence. So when I was preparing for Sharmitra's dream talk, I knew she would share with you her beginning. So let's just step back a few steps, everybody. So when we talk about the fact that her dream was, and when she finally got the dream and she started to see the dream, it was a hair salon with a child care center in it, which is definitely necessary. So maybe she'll add that one day. She was taught some messages that ended in a place where, okay, you're going to go get educated and corporate work. That's admirable. I always say a woman don't work, she don't eat.
Absolutely.
Okay. And you can't be dependent on other people to feed you. We're really past that, to be honest with you. Very, very honest. Women say, I need a husband. No, husband need a wife. I just want to throw that in. Partner needs you. Yes. Whoever you choose as a partner, listen, we're the glory. we were the set prize. That's going to be a whole nother lesson for a whole nother day. So the hair salon and then the corporate America showed up. Not what she wanted, but she honored the process. Because here's what happened. Remember I talked to you earlier about the REs? Sharmitra experienced the resurfacing of a dream. So when you resurface a dream, and I had these in my notes, she had to tap into intuition versus connection. All right. And these two play a huge part when you're talking about dreaming into action, when a dream has to be resurfaced. Because here's what happens. Resurfacing in itself is like the definition, and you can go, look up the definitions, but I want to just give it to you quickly on the layman terms. It's just resuming. So when you resume something, it was probably already sitting there. We can call it deja vu. Some people like, oh, I remember, this is like deja vu. I've been here before. But mostly it's been sitting under the surface waiting for you to just bring it back up. Because see, the dream doesn't leave you unless you just don't want it. Remember I said that? And it take residence up in someone else. I'm going to make some sense in a second. So on this intuition versus connection, she was informed by her messages at home that she had to go do this thing. And she did it. She honored her parents. And there's nothing wrong with that. The children need to honor parents a little more. Lord, help them. Help parents too. And she built a thriving social life and professional life. However, the dream cannot be killed. Y'all hear me? Unless you decide to kill it. The dream will take residence up in someone else, but if it's still in you and you haven't thrown it away and you're sketching sometime or you're thinking through it sometime or you get an even though you're not in full action, your intuition says, you got to do that. It's there. It moves through you, has its life taking place inside of you, right? And then in a moment, the rules of intuition versus connection takes hold. The rule is, right, that if in fact you choose to want it, it'll start moving. It moves without you doing any more lifting. So it starts to connect back to you because intuitively, you never ever allowed it to move outside of your body anyway. It was just taking a dormant space where it resumed itself. And I noticed to be true, even though I study a lot and I study deeply and wide, as you probably could tell, but I've experienced it. I just didn't have a name for it until I started to learn transformational studies. So at the brink of this, that connection, she said yes. She started talking to it. It started talking to her. Am I right?
Absolutely. And I'll say this too, in terms of connection. I became a real estate investor. And while I was working at Spelman, and never thought that it wasn't even on my radar. Right. And the crash happened and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I got a little scared and I sold all of my houses. I had 7 houses and I sold them all. But
there was nothing wrong with being scared of that one.
You're right. But when I sold them, there was nothing going on crazy with my real estate. They were everything was going fine, but I also was listening to somebody else. So that's when Lori says trust your intuition, trust your own intuition, not anyone else's. But true. Fast forward, when I initially met Lori and I went to the first Girl Go Be Great Summit, I was in this kind of like whirlwind of what am I supposed to be doing, but I also have this business plan. And my intuition was saying, go speak to Lori. I need somebody to talk to. And it brought back what I wanted. There's another business that I'm going to be working on, which has to do with real estate. So it never left me and it hasn't left me yet. I still have this business that I am going to
You
that
are.
dream to make happen.
And we can't tell y'all about it, but I'm going to be a part of the process of her putting that dream into action. She's done some work and we've done some things, and I was just honored that she asked my professional opinion. She made my brain get back on track, because I wasn't just a real estate agent, I was a real estate broker. Because the brain that you use in one area of your dream is the same brain you use in the next area of your dreams. And we do have multiple opportunities to dream a few incredible dreams.
Absolutely.
So that thing that we're talking about, it was just waking up. So when she was doing the real estate business and not recognizing there is another dream being formed, because real estate is a wealth building mechanism. The number one wealth building mechanism, and it still exists, is greater than stocks. Stocks being second. People make them first. Insurance actually being first, because if someone dies, you become you can become instant a millionaire.
Absolutely.
That's why you should get as much insurance as you healthy can get. Women need to be educated on that. We got one of our speakers will be talking about that. Let's keep moving. So generally, this waking up of the dream, I want everybody to grab this. And Sharmitra and I are going to pivot after this into self-care and more of what she does for women in this moment of the work she's in. I want everybody to grab that the dream, like hers in the resuming of it, and I know she will attest to this, won't you, Sharmitra, that it was like a wisp in a wind. The wisp of wind, and it came, and she answered.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's hard to grasp hold of these ideas if you've never been exposed to them, girl greatness. And I understand that, because most people, according to studies around dreams, dream only 90 minutes throughout the night. And most women cannot even really recount what she dreamed. They come in, they go out. So I want to leave everybody with this part before we move on. Like cleaning and nourishing of the scalp, you got to keep your space clean for dreams.
Yes.
You got to clean up your space for dreams. Keep your space clean for dreams. Give it a space. To become a dreamer is to allow, I call God my source. If you're Muslim, it's Allah. If you're African, you have other understandings of source. We all have a different name, but what is the same? We have to leave a space, a clean space. And that's because we were given this. This is a birthright. This thing is so serious that we've been playing with it. That's the reason why I'm having growth up here. And I was talking to Sharmitra the other day because I was a little slack. I was a little lax in loving myself during this period of heavy production. And so with a husband and some other matters of working, I missed my 2 week. You cannot miss your appointment with your dream. It's like your scalp. So if I want my hair to continue to get nourished and grow and have cleanliness, because I start feeling itchy, I know I'm in a bad way. Like it won't stop. But I don't want to feel that. We don't have to if we just do what?
Care for ourselves.
Care for self. Do the work. Care for self. Let's go there, Sharmitra. I have one big question for you. I hope that helped everybody. I hope that fired you up. How do you embrace your self-care routine? Like embrace, when I say embrace, most women don't embrace. Right? We've been talking about it. Want, want, want. I've been there. And we don't have a supportive self-care routine. When you're working on the women in your salon and you're sharing and hearing these stories, how do you create and embrace this routine that we need for yourself first? And how do we create a supportive space for it? So we'll do the first one first.
Okay. So for me, what I have decided is that I need to be in spaces that embrace me.
Okay.
That
Okay.
having that
Spaces that embrace you. Am I right? That's what you said?
yes, hmm like this space right here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just I am also a trichologist, and so I attended a trichology conference. I needed that space to embrace what the newness of being a trichologist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so also, one thing that I am, Lori and I talk a lot, but I am also um, I'm journaling more because my mom passed away in 2017. My dad passed away just last year,
Mm-hmm.
and so dealing with those emotions for me, journaling is really great. Um, and that's how I am embracing my self care. If I don't, then I, it gets, the emotions get, it's like turmoil inside, and you want to outlet.
Mm-hmm.
I am also in menopause, and so menopause for me, my poor husband, because we just, I'm kind of moody. And so I have to, self care for me is to woosah, take the time out to just not do anything. I have to go get my massages. I have to go take my walks. I have to embrace. I recently embraced gardening. I had a whole gardening party for my birthday, and just doing, just doing those things in which makes me happy. One thing that I learned, I don't know if you guys know about like dopamine or anything like that, but that's a hormone, and it triggers your moods. It triggers your memory, all of
Mm-hmm.
that. And so one of the things that you can do is just smile, and sometimes, even smiling through some of the issues that we have, that releases that dopamine to help you be in a better mood, and to be more resilient. And so for me, those are the things that I try to do, to for my self care.
So in my notes,
Hmm.
because I'm fingers moving, I wrote down, because we had that question preset, those two questions: feeling the right way, going in the flow, and
Hmm.
living by your own rules and your intuition of what self care looks like.
Hmm.
So I'm going to repeat that, because the dream cannot be realized. Sharmitra cannot be a trichologist and go to conferences, being, as she said, embracing safe spaces for herself to learn and grow. Her dream was to add trichology. Trichology.
Trichology.
Why was that the dream?
That was the dream
How did that
because what?
start? That dream. Yes.
Okay. So early on, I knew that I was helping women grow their hair without necessarily understanding everything that aligned with that. And so I wanted to learn. I wanted to go dive deeper. And so
Okay.
trichology
Mm-hmm.
is one of those areas that I could dive a little bit deeper into scalp disorders, into alopecia, the causes, the reasons, and all, and so on and so forth. And so that's the reason why I decided to go that route, because I wanted to make sure that I was giving my clients everything that I could, to treat their condition, and to
Okay.
treat, because listen, someone said it earlier that, our hair is our crown, and when our hair and
Natasha.
it's not feeling right, I mean, not looking right, we're not feeling right, we're not, we're like, in some, we feel some kind of way, right? But as soon as you get that hair done, as soon as you're feeling better about, your scalp is feeling better, your hair is feeling better, you have all this self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Self-confidence comes from our,
Mm-hmm.
it's not crazy, but it is crazy at the same time. to boost your self-confidence is getting your hair done. You can have on the ugliest outfit, but if your hair is done, how do you feel?
Shoot,
You feel
like a
wonderful.
million
You feel like you're
bucks.
walking on sand. You feel like you're walking on, I mean, in the air. You feel like you're walking on clouds.
Mhm.
So, yes, it's important that
So there it is, Shamitra.
mhm,
I keep bringing it back. This is a really amazing conversation. I didn't know we were going to tie in self care, hair, and dream like this.
mhm.
I knew we had some really great points because, truthfully, if you think about it, the dream does get you the same way. The
It
dream
does.
is your scalp. It is, I'm now convinced, just sitting in this moment with you, the dream is like our scalp. That's why it becomes so sensitive, girl greatness. When somebody try to trample on it,
Mhm.
talk about it. You ever notice this on social media, Sharmitra, where a woman will put her dream out there and ask for people to give her opinion? Like, which logo do you like? You've seen that before, right? I'm sure
Mhm.
some of you have, or you've done it. This is no shade on that. I want you just to grab hold of what I'm about to say next. Because you lack the nourishment, which opens up the follicles, which lets you think clearer. Because I promise you, when my scalp gets clean, I feel the energy moving out through my scalp, coming
Mhm.
back through, flowing, no blockage. All that itching and burning and all that coverings don't allow your hair to your scalp to breathe, which doesn't allow growth.
Mhm.
So in actuality, when you do that, like on social media, which logo do you like? So then someone steps in and they clog up your arm, your clog up your scalp, and then you
Yeah,
can
they clog up just your even your creativity, because you
okay,
have
there
all
we
these
go.
people
That's what I was. That's
chiming
it.
in, telling you that you need to, don't do it this way, do it that way. And so you can't have too many people. Well, the other caveat is you can't have too many people in your dreams. You really need to hone in on like that having that safe space, having that community and support looks different than just being on social media,
It
outside
does.
of social media.
There it
Um,
is. That's the one
mhm.
reason Sharmitra very seldom you won't see her on her page and I See You Beauty having these kind of conversations. She's very protective of her dream.
I'm protective of my dream, and I'm also protective of my clients, because I have client. If you come into the salon, I have I make sure that no one can see them,
Yes, that's true.
because it's very it's vulnerability. You have no hair. You're working through all of those emotions, and I'm there to assist. And so when you're working through emotions as you're trying to scale your business up, it's important to have the right people in your space or not. And
Mm,
then you can't just reveal everything to everyone, because everybody is not going to be supportive to you.
no.
Trust me, they're not going to
Mm-mm.
be supportive of your dreams and of your aspirations, because people are just who they are. And
Yeah.
so again,
Humans.
humans, and having
Yeah.
that support system is key. That's why you're here. That's why
Very
you are
true.
on this Dream into Actions. That's why you're here at this Into Action Summit, because you need that support. And there's going to be so many other speakers that's going to help you um, get that support that you need. And I hope that I have
You
am
have.
one of those speakers that's been able to help you.
So I'm grateful because I had to have as we close, the power of choice. You coming into my life helped raise my self-care vibration regarding just starting from here.
Mhm.
Okay. So I was able to dream again. But I didn't realize that the previous dream cost me literally almost all my hair where it would never grow again. Sharmitra caught me right at the edge of about to fall over the cliff. We were in a class. She saw me through the screen. I saw her through the screen. I was thinking what she might have been seeing. So there will be help for you. Shamitra, do you have help for women? So she can get in the self-care routine of her hair and her scalps. You got virtual. What you got over there?
I have some help. Of course, we have the women on here who are all over the place, on the map. But if you are experiencing some issues with your hair and scalp, I have a virtual consultation that I can do with you. And for the women who are here and those who will see this later, you can go to my IG page, to my link tree, and click on, there's a link that has bookings for this Dream into Actual virtual hair care consultation. And that will be $50 instead of the $150, just for you all. But I'm going to give you, I know I'm going to give you so much more than just saying, trying to figure out your scalp issues, because we got to dive a little bit deeper. I have to ask some personal questions, including your medical history, just to figure out what actions to take to help you with any type of issues that you may be having. And
Okay, so let me see. Is it anything you want my team to put up for you?
yeah, you can put up. I also, my website is under construction. I'm doing some new things with my website. So, but you can go to my actual booking site, which is Jessica. You want me to send that to Jessica, or you want me
Okay, just a minute. I'm talking to the team.
Okay.
So while I talk to them, so you want them to put up what you wanted to put up, a link to your.
They can just go to the IG page, my IG
Okay.
page, under my link tree.
Okay.
It's in the bio.
Let's close out with this while they do that.
Okay.
So the knowledge a woman needs, what is it that you want to share? Because I know you had some incredible things you shared earlier. Anything that you have left to share about the power of her choice and the knowledge when you were sharing, embracing, and you were in that mode? I want to leave you with, I want you to leave women with that.
Let's see. One of the things I'll say, especially it's cultural for us Black women, inner beauty and outer beauty runs the same. And so we have to make sure that internally that we are preserving and taking care of what's going on internally. Um, a lot of times we are holding on to stress. Stress kills. Stress kills. We are, hormonally, we're going through so many different things. Go see your doctor. Go check your hormones out. Okay. Make sure that you do that. And then externally, it's okay for us to go and get a massage. It's okay for us to, I just opened up my head spa to lay down, relax, and get your hair and your scalp scrub and get your a massage. It's okay. I think a lot of times we feel like when we're doing these self-care things that we shouldn't be doing it, because we got to keep moving. We got to keep just going, because if we stop, but if you don't, if you keep continuing to move and move without intention and not take care of yourself, then you are going to be dilapidated. You're going to not have any energy, and you're not going to be able to take care of anyone else, let alone yourself. So
you know what, Shamitra? I think it should be a law. No self-care, no dreams.
No self-care, no dreams. I mean, to be honest, that's the truth. It's not even, we can make it a law here.
Well, let's do that. See, me and you, we tend to come up with stuff. Y'all heard that, Girl Greatness? If you catching this as a replay, and I know many of you be back tonight, but this will be replaying all through the day. That's right. Natasha said 100%.
100%. You have to Black women have to take care of themselves. And I'm going to leave with this as well. When the pandemic happened, I think that was, there's so many things that happened during the pandemic, but when it happened, because it was worldwide, I think that was a time for us to just sit down and woosah. I think God was like, especially for Black women, because we have carried the weight of the world on our backs for so long. And I think that was a time for God to say, listen, sit back, sit down, get some rest, work on your dreams, work on the actions so that you can get to your dreams, right? We all have purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We all have a purpose here. It's just how we get there is different. And I think that was, but unfortunately, I think what's going on now is that we're trying to pick up where we left off. And so that clashes with how to attain those goals and those dreams. Because now we got to recalculate, and it's okay. We don't need to pick back up what we left off. That's dead and that's over. All that running around, all that ripping and running and doing everything for everybody else and not doing anything for ourselves. If you're doing it still, if you're trying to pick that back up, you need to put it down. Period.
So we're going to put that mantle down.
Mm-hmm.
Sharmitra, I want to tell you that I'm so grateful for you. There is links in the chat for those of you who see it later. Thank you for clicking that link. I'm thanking you in advance because I know how hard it is to let go of the dream you saw of your hair, or the dream you felt this and the dream you felt that, especially when it comes to your crown. Because I had a dream, I always was blonde. And I stayed there for 14 years. So you can stay inside of the dream too long. The dream hairdo, the dream hairstyle may not be truly supporting the true dream.
Yeah.
Right? So many of us are covering the dream of hair growth, hairstyle with hairstyle. Mm-hmm. So what I love about Sharmitra and her work, it really is therapeutic. She's unlike other stylists. She is about beauty. That's why the name of her company is I See You Beauty.
I see you.
The beauty within us.
Mm-hmm.
And what I know about dreams, that's why I invited her here. Not because she was a client, not because I was her client, but because we believe the same thing. And I am a absolute story of how women can really, really, really falter in her dream. I did not realize that I was faltering in my dream of my hair dream because I was stuck somewhere. I was stuck in the style, the spiky look. I was stuck. So here's the deal. We all get stuck. Then I realized that I didn't realize at the time that I was getting irritated and aggravated. And my dreams, I was trying to realize them through this stuck place. And it started with my crown. Like I talked about the wound earlier. So it could be your crown, it could be your wound, but I tell you what it is. It is those energy spaces that allow us to grow. These are the notes that I took out of this session myself. The correlation between self-care, hair, scalp, and dreams. This became a phenomenal talk. This was actually a lot more than what we had already practiced. Sharmitra, I appreciate you sharing the points that you shared when you opened up. I appreciate you sharing your life. I know that you are a private person. And that's okay too, y'all. L'Oreal open, Sharmitra's private. That's why we get along so good. She'd be like, Lord, what you talking about? I'll be like, Sharmitra, tell me more about that. So thank you. You are an incredible woman in the world of hair. But more so, I think an incredible entrepreneur. I know that. I'm looking forward to the projects you'll put, especially that new dream project. These are the points for each of us. Exfoliate the dream.
Yes.
Embrace the dream. Ground with the dream. Because when you're dreaming and you're grounding and you're taking care of your self-care, it produces dopamine. It gives you more energy. Mm-hmm. We talked about menopause. Menopause is a serious defect to the body. Mm. It'll change you overnight. We talked about intuition versus connection. We talked about the resurfacing of her dream to go back and get that dream, which was hairstyling. But then she became so much more than that. See, the dream evolved. And we talked about honoring. I didn't think we'd said anything about this, but in her honoring her parents and honoring her tradition, she did that. She didn't have to stay, but she showed up. So many of us get so mad when we are asked to just operate in a tradition for a moment. One of the reasons why, we're dealing with the kind of a world we're dealing with now. There are a lot of rebelliousness, and I understand some things must be rebelled against, but some things need to be sit down and listened to also. Wisdom, ancestors, and as us women, we have a lot of that covering us. We have a lot of ancestors cheering for us from the grave. So let's do it for us, and let's do it for her. And lastly, love thyself. Principle, law, not just the law of manifestation and law of attraction we'll talk about tonight, but we got to love ourselves. We can't do none of this. We can't have any of this. We can't live freely, breathe big, create incredibleness in our dreams if we don't love ourselves. So that's really the word. It comes back to that. Love and self-care. Love thyself, self-care. Because we're not taking care of our hair, we're probably not taking enough showers. We're not taking enough showers, we're probably not using the bathtub like we should. We're not doing fiber so we can go to the bathroom. I can get down with it. We'll be talking to another wellness, expert. We need to talk about these things. People think it's just, I need the money to get my dream up. No, maybe you need to use the bathroom. I'm just being honest, right? Maybe you hadn't used the bathroom in a month, so your brain is cloudy. Self-care. Maybe you hadn't been to the hair salon because you've been trying it at home. You want to save $1, but I promise you that dollar will go longer when you're in self-care. You will go longer. All right. Thank you, Sharmitra. The dream resurfaced in you. So if you need to resurface a dream, look at what it's doing in Sharmitra's life. We appreciate you, and we look forward to seeing you tonight, or, when you can join in. We'll be here from 7 to 10, catch some of those talks, and I'll see you girls on the other side. We are closing out our midday session. Go be great, and I'll see y'all tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. Thank you, Sharmitra. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Natasha. Have a super day.